Hey there, Homelabbers. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Havoc. Today, I want to introduce you to a product called CasaOS. CasaOS is kind of your own personal cloud operating system, I guess you could say. Great for running tools to store your files, maybe do some Plex or some Jellyfin. And it's created by a group of really passionate developers that keep adding to it and making this a great beginner kind of OS project for Homelabbers. Something I really like about CasaOS is its simplicity. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's basic. There's some really fun tools when it comes to server automation, and they make it easy for the beginner to kind of roam around and kind of get the hang of Homelabbing. Something CasaOS does really well is some of the automations like backups and disk management, network management, but also there's a whole suite of applications you can install and test, including Docker. Now that you've learned a few of the reasons why I enjoy CasaOS, it's time for me to show you how to install it. I have two different methods of installing CasaOS that I'm going to show you today. Let's get rolling. The first way I'm going to show you how to install CasaOS is on a brand new Ubuntu server. I just spun up a server on Proxmox. It's a virtual machine. Let's get over to that and take a look real quick. Here we are over on my Proxmox server, and you can see here on the left side, I created a server called CasaOS. It is literally just a generic Ubuntu server. Just spun it up, gave it hardly any hardware at all, 2 gigs of RAM. I think I gave it two CPU cores. I think I did like even 32 gigs of storage space. So really gave it not much of anything. It doesn't need a whole lot. The first thing we can do here though is we can install CasaOS via the terminal or the console within Proxmox, or you can SSH into it with your favorite terminal software. Now, CasaOS, it's really easy to install when it comes to this side of it. When you're doing a VM, it's literally just a solid one-liner command that you put in. We'll go over to CasaOS. Now that we're on the CasaOS website, you could see down here, there's this curl command. All we need to do is copy and paste that into the terminal or the console, run that, and that'll start the installation of CasaOS. If you want to learn a little more about the software, you need the live demo. You can scroll down here, look at some screenshots. Up here at the top right, they have a Discord Zima board. So this is also the guys or the crew that create the Zima board, Zima Blade, all that stuff. Productivity. There's a whole slew of self-hosted apps you can do within CasaOS. So let's go ahead and copy this curl command. It's copied, and then we'll go ahead, launch our terminal software, paste it in, and get installing. Here we are. I'm logged into that server. If you don't know what the IP address is, one really easy thing you can do while you're on that server is in the console, go ahead and log in. And what you can do here is you can do host name space dash uppercase I, and that'll give you the IP address. You could also do IP A, and that'll give you the IP address as well. So really just what kind of information you want. So we see mine's 50.223. If for some reason in your summary, if you are doing this off of Proxmox, if it doesn't show here in the IPs, because I didn't do the guest agent, that's how you can get your IP address, or go into your router settings and see what address the server pulled. Back here, we'll go ahead and paste in that command and we'll hit enter. Go ahead and authenticate. And then you can see here, it's going to start installing CasaOS. Now we sit here and wait. It does it all for you. It's super great. Like, this couldn't be any easier. And I can't wait to show you what it looks like once we're all done here. See that? Even installing Docker dependencies. We like that. All right, now that CasaOS is installed, let's go ahead and reboot the server. But before we do, you see in the middle of the screen there, it has an IP address. We're going to go ahead and put that in our web browser after we reboot, and that'll get us into the CasaOS interface. And here we go. Our server is rebooted, and we put the IP address into our browser, and we come here to the CasaOS create an account screen. Go ahead and follow the directions here. You're going to create your account, your username, your password, and then click create. Once you do that, you're good to go. You pop in here. It says, do you want to show the news feed? I'll click cancel. And we are now officially into CasaOS. That was my first way to show you how to install CasaOS on a fresh Ubuntu server via the command line. Now, let me show you how to install it via an LXC container in Proxmox. Over on the Proxmox helper script site, it's on GitHub. They have a ton of scripts and stuff you can run that'll easily install all these different categories of applications. For this one, obviously, we're going to do CasaOS. What we'll do is we'll copy this whole command right here, this whole bash command, and I'll put a link in the description below to my documentation site of where to get this. We're going to go ahead and copy that, and then we'll log in to our Proxmox server via our SSH client. Now that we're logged into our Proxmox server, we're going to go ahead and paste that command. So I'll paste that there. We'll do enter, and then we'll go ahead and let it start doing its installation. As you can see here, it says this will create a new CasaOS LXC. Do you want to proceed? We'll do yes. Something to note, if you do this over in the Proxmox dashboard, not all the time will this all show up in the console. So that's why I'm using an SSH or a terminal software to do this, so I can see all the options. Here we go. Do we want the default settings? I'm just going to go default. And you can see here, we're going to choose what directory we want to use for our storage pool. It's downloading the template, creating our container, starting our container. This is really easy. There we go. We see we got a IP address, created LXC container number 107, installing all the dependencies. We're updated. IP6 not connected, not using that. Installing CasaOS, patience. You can see it defaults to 8 gig disk size, 2 cores, and 2 gigs of RAM. So it's really pretty much nothing. And you can change all that later too in the Proxmox settings. There we have it. It says everything is installed. It's been set up. We're going to go to the IP address there on the screen and see if it's working. Here we go. We are at the IP address. We have our login. We'll go ahead and create our account. So go through that process and we're logged in. So now we have CasaOS running in an LXC container. If we go back over here to our Proxmox, you can see right here, here's our LXC container. It just works nice and easy. Just one command line into your Proxmox shell or terminal. And there you have it. That's how you install CasaOS 2 different ways. One way, doing it on an Ubuntu server VM, and the other way, doing it via a Proxmox LXC container. And again, I'll put the link in the description below of where you can get these commands off of my documentation site. Make sure you're following the channel, as I'm going to do additional videos on CasaOS and some of the great things it can do. Until next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep doing good.